Parental leave to take care of a child. Well, how does that really work? Well, let's take a look at a real case involving Derek Rotondo. Derek worked for J.P. Morgan Chase. And in his position, he wanted to take time off when his son was born. He asked for 14 weeks of leave. Company, J.P. Morgan, said, no, you only get 2 weeks of leave. Well, he protested, saying, I'd like to have a full 14 weeks of leave, and let's look at what happens with regard to females. I mean, when a female gives birth, she automatically gets 16 weeks of leave because it's presumed that she is the primary caregiver. In this instance, I want to take care of my newborn son. I will be the primary caregiver, and therefore I would like 14 weeks. J.P. Morgan said, hang on a second. You have to demonstrate that you are going to be the primary caregiver. You have to demonstrate that your wife went back to work and that she's not going to be available, and in the absence of that kind of proof, we're not going to give you the 14 weeks. Well, suit was brought. The case moved forward. There were various motions. And in view of what was taking place, J.P. Morgan eventually said, oh, gee whiz, this case is not going very well for us. And it's not going well for us, and in addition, it is a class action suit because Derek was bringing claim not only for himself, but for all men who were similarly situated who were working for J.P. Morgan. And his basic argument was, hey, this is a sensual, stereotypical bias. When a woman takes off following childbirth, she's automatically given 16 weeks because she is presumed to be the primary caregiver. But when I, as a father, wish to take some time off, wanted to take 14 weeks, I'm not allowed to do that because it is presumed I am not the primary caregiver. That's a bunch of traditional stereotypes which bias the way in which this program is being handled. Well, J.P. Morgan wasn't pleased with the way the case was going in view of some of the emotions that took place, and because it was a class action and they could get hit for a large amount of money, J.P. Morgan, eventually said, we're going to settle this thing, and before it ever got to trial, before it ever got to a final determination before a court, they paid $5 million. $5 million to all members of that class. Now, the point of this is very simple. A couple of things we learn here. One is that a lot of civil cases never get to court. A lot of civil cases are settled before they do get to court. The other thing that we find is that in this context of today's workplace, it is no longer fair to presume that the female is the primary caregiver. And it is fair for a male who wishes to raise his infant son to have that time devoted to doing that. And this case stands as a good example of it, and the recognition of the parties who became involved in it, that in fact is what is taking place in today's workplace, that men are as involved in raising their children as females, and that men, when they wish to be a primary caregiver, as Derek wanted to be here, can take that time off, should be allowed to take that time off, or at least that's what J.P. Morgan eventually said needed to be done, and in all probability a similar case brought, similar result would occur. Bringing you this case, bringing cases every week, I'm David Allen.